Get my fancy pen straight out there. And we're recording. Hello, this is Barry McDonnell, your mayor, and this is the second video around the coronavirus and the city's response to it. Today, I'm sitting with Chief Swinhart from the fire department and Chief Lackey from the police department. How are you gentlemen doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good, thanks.
And then just give you a quick bio. Nick or Chief Lackey, you've been the police chief there for the last, since 2008, and you've been a police officer with Camas for the last 30 years and a lifelong Camas resident, which is great. And Chief Swinhart, you've been the chief since 2011, and you've got 31 years as being a firefighter.
Yes.
And I just want to thank both you guys for your services, and what you do to the community is absolutely amazing. And what each of your departments do, each of the firefighters and each of the police officers that day in and day out put their lives out there, and we really appreciate it as citizens here. So we're having this conversation again around this global pandemic, and that we're at the beginning stages of. And with this pandemic, there's two types of pandemics. There's a slow pandemic or a fast pandemic. A fast pandemic would have significant consequences on our healthcare system. A slow pandemic is something that we could manage. However, it does require everyone to social distance and to stay at home. And this is a message that has been very clear from Governor Inslee in regards to what Washingtonians should be doing and staying at home. With that understanding, Chief Lackey, what's your take out there in the community? Do you feel like people are taking this seriously? What are your officers seeing when they're out there?
So I actually do think that our community is taking it very seriously. We've noticed a dramatic reduction in traffic on the roadways. We don't see as many people grouping when they are out together. It's been a fairly nice week as far as the weather goes. And we do see people in the parks, but they seem to be small family units. And in those public places that are still open, such as Safeway, we are seeing people taking steps to use the social distancing practices. So our call volume is down for what would even be normal this time, kind of going into spring break. And we know that we have a lot more people home than what we would normally have. So I would actually say that it's going very well. It's not to say that it couldn't go a little bit better. I'm sure you can always do a little bit better. But so far, I really give it good marks, give the community high marks for that.
Chief Swinhart, are you seeing the same?
Yes, absolutely. Our call volume for fire and EMS calls this time of year are down pretty significantly. And I attribute it, much like Chief Lackey said, to people choosing to stay home. And if they go out, just going out for essential things. So yeah, things have been very quiet for us given the global pandemic that we're dealing with. As far as the emergency services, we're doing pretty good.
Good. And I can't stress it enough that people should stay home if at all possible. It is so important for everybody, especially those people that are more susceptible to this virus. When it comes to personal protection and ensuring that your teams are being protected, both the firefighters and the police as they're out there, do we have protection currently right now?
So speaking for the police, yes, we always have a normal amount of what we call PPE, personal protection equipment on hand. And those would be things such as gloves and masks and eye protection. And while we normally stock up for those items for a normal time of year, and they're also items we can quickly replenish, that hasn't been the case lately. And so as we went into this health crisis, I think the police department, as well as all of the law agencies around the state and fire agencies, they sought to get a little bit of a small buffer on hand because our normal vendors just weren't out there for us. We recently had a donation from a local dental office, Riverside Dental, of some gloves. And even a small donation like that has been very helpful. So we are okay, as we sit here today, we are okay with our personal protective equipment for the police department. And we have a request in, we're on a waiting list through the State Department of Emergency Management to kind of restock some of those buffers. And what we're hearing is that shouldn't be too much longer, perhaps even in the next week.
That's great. And I know Lutz also dropped off some equipment as well. And Chief Swinhart, you've had individuals also drop off some protective equipment?
Yeah, we have, and we definitely appreciate the donations that people are bringing into us. So, as Chief Lackey said, our experience is pretty similar in that right now we have enough equipment and PPE equipment and supplies to take care of our personnel at this time. But again, our concern is similar to the police departments in that our normal distribution channels out there right now is we don't have anything new coming in. So we definitely have a concern about how long this is going to continue, and we're definitely hopeful that we will be able to get some new supplies soon.
And last week as well, along with 7 other mayors from Southwest Washington, we sent a letter to the governor requesting that as well, letting them know that we do have a need, and hopefully we'll be able to hear back from that soon as well. Communication is a key part. We're now having daily communication as a city, ensuring that we're up to date. Where are we getting this information from? And as you guys give us the briefings, where is this information coming from?
Well, I think I'll start, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind. So it almost starts locally, and it moves all the way up to the state level and even to the federal level nationally. But locally, we're getting our information about recommendations and new information coming through CRESA, who has opened their Emergency Operations Center. And they have done that in combination with the Department of Public Health here with Clark County. And so they remain almost a one-stop location to put out a daily briefing on everything to do with the crisis. They also will are a resource for us to collect information on those supplies that are short, and they will work with the state directly to help replenish the things that we're out of. I looked at the list today, and kind of the 3 big things as far as are being requested out of Clark County are test kits, and then the mask and the gloves for the first responders and the hospital and medical people. But in the daily briefing that we get every afternoon, EOC, they're providing updates with status on the hospitals, just about anything that could do with the crisis. And so it's just a very informative spot that we can go. They're connected on a state level, and so many of the counties have a similar EOC up and running. And then through the State Department of Emergency Management, they're even communicating with the federal government. So I find it very helpful as police chief to find that information that's both accurate and timely, and we get that every day, even on the weekends.
Absolutely. And then at a local level, do we have a game plan for an EOC here if we had to open up an emergency operations center, if you know, we had maybe a lot of officers or a lot of firefighters started getting the virus? Do we have a game plan at that point? I guess to Chief Swinhart.
Yes, absolutely. We have Emergency Operations Center has already been set up by Chief Lackey down at the police department and is ready to go if we need to activate it and staff it with personnel from the various city departments, including the police department, the fire department, to allow us to handle the deployment of our personnel in not only public safety, but in other services that the city provides in a coordinated manner from one central point. And we aren't at that step yet of having to activate the EOC, but due to the work that Chief Lackey's put in and getting that all set up, we are ready to go if the need arises.
Great. And Chief Swinhart, this crisis is centered around public health, and EMS and firefighters are going to be crucial in this process. Where do we stand right now as far as our EMS and our firefighters teams go?
We are doing good. We're not at 100% staffing because we do have a few vacancies due to retirements and so forth. But we are at our typical staffing level for this time of year. We have no problems answering 911 calls for fire or medical emergencies at this point, and actually our call volume is down a little bit for this time of year. So right now we are not having problems answering emergency calls. So I'd say we're doing pretty well given the circumstances.
Great. Yeah, and I think overall things are very positive right now, and we're still open for business. So again, we don't have people in City Hall currently, or we've got it at a very we have people working at home. However, the numbers are still working, and there's a lot of things that we are doing. One of the big focuses that we're working on right now is that we have a lot of the community that are vulnerable to this virus that maybe are not as savvy online. So we will be handing out flyers this week to the community with some resources for them as well, ways that they can connect, or if they need support or help, we'll be able to help kind of support that. So there'll be more details to come with that. But I think overall, things are looking good. But I can't stress enough the importance of staying at home, if you can, maintaining social distances, and really taking this seriously, because it is something that is very significant, and we have to do our part in order to make this a slow pandemic, one that we can control, and one that's not going to overwhelm the systems. And again, in a place like Camas, where I think people generally do care, this is a place that we can do that and have those positive effects. So again, gentlemen, I truly appreciate you talking today. I appreciate everything that you do each and every day, and the teams that you represent. And we'll be talking tomorrow and every other day, I think, as we watch this progress, and as we continue to evolve and make the decisions that we need to help best support the community. So thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you.